Hello there. My name is Laura. I am polyamorous in life and in my knitting, but this podcast is mostly about my knitting. I live in Kajaani, Finland with my family. Uh, I have two teenagers living at home still, and two cats, and a husband, and I also have a boyfriend. I call my husband Habibi in this podcast, and my boyfriend I call Babe. So those are the most important people in my everyday life, and animals. One is here. Tuletko tänne? No, she didn't want to come. Yeah, it's been a while since I recorded because the summer has gone by so quickly. I was thinking about filming in early June and late June, and now it's almost the end of July. Not quite, but almost. As Habibi said last night, it's almost autumn now, so I was trying to be positive. No, it's not. It's July. It's not even August yet, but he's gone back to work, and the children's schools are starting in a couple of weeks, so it is getting towards the autumn. But I'm still gonna talk about summer knitting because that's what I've been doing mostly, and I still have some plans, summer knitting plans, because I want to knit them when it's summer and not in the winter. I probably won't get to them all this summer, but I hope I will get something done. As you can see, I am wearing this Summery ranunculus by Midori Hirose. This is a quite recent knit. And I knit this in Katia linen, which is, I don't have the tag, but about half and half, like linen and cotton, and it is quite nice, quite a nice summery fabric. I will add some little videos somewhere here maybe that I took earlier today about these knits that I have done, because it's not easy to show these here. Sitting here, the camera is too near to show anything properly. Okay. Yeah, maybe I'll just go forward to the knitting stuff and maybe talk about life stuff a bit later. And yeah, not so much about life stuff because this is a knitting podcast. But anyway, I have some FOs that I showed some that were whips. I've forgotten all the terms because I haven't been talking in English that much, but I'm gonna do this anyway. I finished the Anna huolia hevosen by Jenna Kostet, and I already sent it to my son's girlfriend, and she liked it. I'm gonna add a picture here so you can see it all done, and I'm not gonna talk more about that anymore. And another FO that I have showed you before, or when it was a whip, is this shawl that is Vertices Unite by Stephen West. It is a large shawl. I showed you the yarn things and told everything last time, and now I don't remember everything, so I'm just gonna show you this. And I have made the smaller Vertices Unite before, and I use it as a scarf, but this is quite nice but too hot right now, used as this. I think I could use it as a large scarf in the winter, but I don't know if I think I'll prefer it this way. But it is too hot right now because it's still over 20 degrees Celsius, which is kind of a lot in here. Not too hot, it's actually perfect for outdoorsy stuff. But yeah, this is lovely, and I think I will be wearing this a lot when it will get colder. And now I remember that I will link all of my projects to the Ravelry pages that I've made, where there's all of the yarn and needle information. If you are interested, you can watch it there. Yep. What else? Then I have a summery top, or kind of a camisole maybe, that I don't have here. It is living in Babe's house because I use it there. It is called reikiötoppi, which means like reikä is a hole, so it's kind of a holio top by Noita Metsä Designs. She's a Finnish designer, not so well known maybe, but I really like her stuff, and I think I might be making more of those reikiö toppi, or maybe like a dress later. I need this one with some bamboo yarn that I had in my stash from like previous summers. I hadn't just used them, but I used all of the black yarn. I will insert a picture here so you can see it. The black yarn, all of the black yarn, that was King Cole bamboo cotton, maybe fingering, yeah. And because I ran out of the black yarn, then I used the light blue or jeans blue. It was also bamboo and cotton, I think. But yeah, I like it's really drapey and soft, and it feels nice and cool. Yeah, and then I crocheted these armholes and the neck opening with the blue yarn, so because it was a bit too wide, the holes were too wide. I don't know how to talk anymore. I hope you can bear with me. Yeah, then another summery top I need this, it was maybe June, was Tolstoti by Rebecca Clow, or Clow. I'm not sure about the pronunciation. Anyway, she is Crea Bea at in YouTube and in Instagram, and she's just a great designer. And when I saw that, or actually I didn't even see, but she was talking about that design, I wanted to make it, so I purchased the pattern when it came out. And yeah, it's a really nice pattern that you can modify it, and there comes like a modification suggestions with the pattern, so you can like get some ideas. I knit mine with those eyelets and the garter ridges around them, and yeah, you can also make like stripy ones or whatever. It is a raglan shaped raglan construction, yeah. Like just a basic t-shirt, and you can just do with it whatever you want to. So it is a nice pattern. And also there you can, or she made this pattern in the first one was in DK weight, and there comes another pattern with it that is fingering weight, and I'm going to make a fingering weight also, but I'm gonna talk about that later. Yeah, I used, with my Tolstity, I used Sadness Garn Line, which is like DK or worsted weight, maybe. And well, the gauge is always kind of a problem for me because I have a looser gauge than most designers, so I have to use a lot smaller needles. I think I used 4mm needles when the pattern says 5mm, but I'm not sure. So if you are interested, please check out my Ravelry page. And by the way, in Ravelry I am named Onervainen, and in Instagram I am polyamorous knitter. I forgot to tell you that first, but I think it's okay. Then the third summer, or actually fourth, because this was the first, was V-Back Tea by Jamie Hoffman, and I'm going to insert a video thing here. And I used some merino singles that I had in my stash, and the pattern is really, really nice. There's like instructions, so you can make like 1 colored or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 version of it, and there's like very good instructions how to do them all. And you can wear it with the V in the back or the V in the front, but I think it sits better on my body if the V is in the front, although Habibi said that it's better in the back. So, well, I feel more comfortable wearing it the wrong way around. Yeah, I think I should have made it a bit longer, because I don't know what to wear with it. Or I do have a high-waisted skirt on me right now, so I think that's okay. But if there's, I have like one of these kind of skirts, so maybe I just should have more. But anyway, I usually like when my like shirts are a bit longer, or the other way is that if it's cropped, then it should be really fitted and not flaring like a lot. I just don't feel like it's a good shape of shirt on my body if it's too short and flary. Yeah. Then I have one last FO, and it is this bag. This is dumpling bag by Pearl Soho. It is a free pattern from their website, and you're supposed, or in the pattern, it uses like their own yarn, but I had these cotton yarns, some hobby cotton yarns that I had bought before, and I wanted to make these pan pride colors, because I am also pansexual, and these are my pride colors. So, well, actually the blue should be a bit lighter maybe, but I think this is close enough. And I participated in Rainbow Cal 22 that was hosted by the Irish Knitting Podcast with this and that was the other reason why I wanted to make some bright colors. And then I am using this bag as a project bag, as you may see, because there's a needle sticking out. So this is a smooth transition to whips. I have half of a sock in here. This is Rising Dawn by Stephen West, and there's this easy stitch pattern, and this is just very meditative thing to knit. And I'm knitting this for my son. I hope this fits him, because he only wears woolly socks, and he only has one pair of like fingering weight woolly socks, and the others are thick and long. So I wanted to make these fingering weight socks for him this summer, but I don't think that these will be done before the summer is over. So maybe they will be for him next summer, or someone else if these don't fit him, because I'm not sure if this is large enough. Anyway, I'm using some hobby something Atlas yarn that is just this basic fingering weight sock yarn, and I think it's quite nice how it turned out. It's a bit stripy. I wasn't sure if it was going to be too like restless, or like it wouldn't be nice, but I think it is quite nice. Yeah, this will be done someday. Yeah, so I have a few other whips that I'm going to show you. The first one is in here, in a bag I made, and this is the Junction by Andrea Maury. It is an older pattern. When I saw the picture of this, I was like, I want to make that. And I bought that pattern, but then I didn't make it then, but I am making it now. There is this yoke section is brioche, and this other is just this world's simplest stranded knitting. And I'm done with the body, and yesterday night I started the other sleeve, but I didn't get really far. I need maybe one round. I am using, I think the original was a lot more woolly yarn, but this is kind of Summery sweater for me. I'm using this Bio Balance by BC Garn. This is 55% wool and 45% cotton. So it is soft but cottony. Yeah, it is like more summery yarn, and it feels really nice. And the other yarn I'm using is this. This is a like speckled sports weight merino, and it is dyed by Ruskonlahti, a Finnish dyer. The colorway is Kevättä ilmassa, which means spring is in the air, and it has these like some blue and purple and pink speckles, and it has been really fun to knit with it, because it's always a surprise that what colored like stitch is coming. and it's really subtle in this sweater. I made a swatch before with another yarn, but I didn't like it. I dyed this yarn, this purple yarn myself, but I didn't think it was a good look on this. So I just decided to use another yarn, and I had this, and I think this is perfect for this project. And I want to wear this, but the knitting hasn't been such an enjoyable process, except for the yoke. I really loved the brioche. It's so like so meditative, and there's something really, it feels so good to knit brioche. I didn't think I would say that ever, but now that I've done it a bit, so it feels I want to learn more. But this stranded knitting part is, even though it is simple, it is just, it's been a drag. I haven't been enjoying that so much, but I'm going to knit this, and it will be ready when it is, hopefully soon. But yeah, it is a beautiful design, I think. I think it was like, cause Andrea Murray makes those Rhinebeck sweaters every year, so I think this was one of them. I'm not sure, but I have this idea in my head that it was, so maybe it was. But I haven't seen these junctions a lot in the social media or anywhere, but I just fell in love with the pattern or the sweater and wanted to make it. Yeah. What's next? I have another. This is where I start to talk about live stuff a bit, because it is yarn related. I was on a road trip with Babe, and because Finland is quite a tall country and we live in the middle part, because it is like this, and we went to the southern parts of Finland, and it takes hours to drive there. And he was driving, so I figured that I have a lot of knitting time, which I did, but I was maybe a bit overly optimistic about how much I'm going to get done. But anyway, I took this with me, and I decided that there's a lot of knitting in this one, and because I have a lot of time, then I will probably like get it done. I didn't, but this is where I was when we started the trip, and this is where I got. So there's like 5 centimeters or a couple of inches. So there's still a lot to go. This is Aurora Cabin Shawl by Stephen West, and I cast this on in Boxing Day last Christmas, and it has been slow going, but it's getting there a bit by bit. I really like the colors and the yarn that I chose. This is Finnish wool Wilhelmi Kampalanka, which means worsted spun, yeah. And it is fingering weight, and it is like, I think, Finn sheep. Let me check. No, just Finnish sheep. Yeah, I've talked about this before, but this was my car knitting, and it was perfect car knitting, but as you can see, the trip was too short. Well, we did sit a lot in the car, maybe, I don't even know, maybe 15 hours or something. But I also need the Rising Dawn sock in the car, and I also read a book out loud to him, so I did other things than just to knit this. But yeah, I was a bit disappointed in myself, but the trip was very, very nice. We had a good time, and we saw my relatives and his relatives and my friends and his friends, and then we had some time just together in Tampere, and I got to go to some yarn shops, and there was Jyväskylä Knit Fest, but I didn't go there when the Knit Fest was like going, but I got there like a day or two later, because you know, life. And it's okay, it was nice that he was with me, and I didn't like, I was so tired that it would have been too much to be in a festival with a lot of strange people, even though they are knitters. But anyway, so I got some yarn. We went to Nurja in Tampere, and then when we drove home, then we stopped at Jyväskylä at the Tity, the Finnish like yarn store, and they are like, there was the milieu was really, really lovely. There was just all those old houses, and yeah, anyway, I almost forgot, we also went to Hämeenlinna in Wetterhof, because we were staying at his friends near Hämeenlinna, and he was asking that, you know, is there a yarn shop in Hämeenlinna? And I was like, probably, because you know, I had heard about Wetterhof because it's quite a like old and a well-known place, but I didn't just remember it that it was in Hämeenlinna. But anyway, we went there, and I got some yarn. Then we went to Nurja in Tampere, and I got some yarn, and from Tity to Jyväskylä we got some yarn, and he was just a sport to come with me. He's not a yarny person, but he's listening to me talk about yarn and stuff. Anyway, I cast one thing on today from the yarn I bought from Nurja. Where is it? There. I bought this. Katia Tencel cotton, and I bought some Summery patterns, well, maybe a few, by Sari Nordlund, because there was a sale, so yeah. And today I casted this on, and as you can see, I'm not far. But anyway, this is going to be the Roman Holiday, which is an older pattern, and I have never seen anyone make this, but it felt like I would love to wear one. So, but it called for knitting for olive pure silk held double, and I could have gotten it from Tity because they have that now, but because I also have to be mindful of my money, then I had this budget option, so I bought this Tencel cotton. It is soft. I think that it's not at all the same as the silk yarn, but I think this will be fine, because I want to knit with the Knitting for Olive silk yarn, but it is not cheap, and it is, in this pattern it would have been held double, so I would have had to buy like a lot of balls, well, maybe 4, but anyway, so this was like maybe half the price, and I wanted to buy some other yarn too, so I'm going with this one, and I hope it will be a nice top. If I remember, I can insert a picture here though, so you can see what it's going to be like. And that was the last of the whips I'm going to show you today. And then I'm going to show you some yarn I bought. I'm not usually, I don't like to show off or tell about my acquisitions so much, because it just doesn't feel like me, but I am quite excited about these purchases I made on my trip. So I'm going to take a sip of this. And then let's do it. I'm also going to tell about my plans, because most of the yarn I bought I bought them thinking about a certain pattern. So in here I have this beautiful yarn, and it's all tangled up. This Malabrigo Susurro, and the colorway is Teal Feather, and this is let me check. This is 50% mulberry silk, 25% merino wool, and 25% linen. And I'm going to make a Kuutar tea by Sari Nordlund from this. And I was thinking that I'm going to buy some other yarn, because this is quite expensive normally. But when we got to the Wetterhof in Hämeenlinna, this was on sale. So it was like almost 10 euros cheaper than in some other shops. So I had to do this. I bought 3 skeins of this beautiful yarn. So this will be Kuutar. And I wish I would have time and energy to knit all of these things like right now, but I have to prioritize. That's why I started the Roman holiday, because it was the most summery like patterns, I think, so I can maybe still wear it this summer. The next one is living in this bag that I got from my son, some gaming related what is it, like those small animals. Stuffy, I don't know, I don't remember. Anyway, from Nurja I bought this BC Garn Lino, and this I bought this because I had a ball of this blue one that I had bought before. I don't know, maybe last summer or something, or the one before that. And I didn't know what to do with this one ball, because, you know, it's just not enough for anything. So I decided that I will make the Tolstati fingering weight version of this. So the main color will be this dark brown. And then I'm going to make stripes with this blue one. And I think it will be quite nice. I think this will be the next one that I will cast on. I have already knit some swatches. It will be quite a holy fabric. I guess you don't say holy, but there's airy. Anyway, and I hope it will be great. And this yarn feels a bit rough, but I think that it will get softer when you wear it and wash it and stuff. Then there's more. What's in here? Oh, this I didn't buy from the trip, but I bought. I ordered online. And it came here just before I left for the trip. This is Woolmy Ones Fibers Bamburino. So this is like 65% merino and 20% bamboo and 15% silk. And this feels so lovely. And I hope that, and I think that it will be nice and drapey. Because I will make Tenya by Caitlin Hunter from this. And this I bought it because I have had the pattern in my library for a while, and I just didn't have yarn for it, and I didn't know what yarn I wanted to use. But when I saw this, and I knew that she would not have this yarn later, maybe, so I had to buy it because I decided that it would be perfect for the Tenya. And when the yarn got here, I realized that it is just almost the same color as my one cat, Kura. So we will be like the same? Maybe not. Anyway, I think the colors are beautiful. Then I didn't remember to take all of the yarn here. I'll show you some later. But this is this yarn was bought from Hämeenlinna. There was like a supermarket, and this was on sale, and I had one ball of this before, and not all of it, because I had made some swatches, and I was like, I don't know what to do with this. But then when I saw that there was this one, the same color, and actually it was the same, like, what is it? Lot? Then I just thought that I will buy a few balls. I bought 4, or actually I didn't buy them, but Babe said that, no, it's not much, I can buy it for you. So he bought this for me. And with this I'm going to make, let me see, camisole number 9 by My Favorite Things Knitwear. And it also suggested that I could use, or I thought that I could use the silk, knitting for olive silk yarn, but you know, this was like €2 a ball. So I'm going to make it with this one, and I think it will be like more like I can use it under something in the winter, and it will be nice and warm, because this is like merino, superwash merino, I think. It doesn't say if it's superwash. Well, anyway, it's going to be, I never have bought any of her patterns, but it was such a basic and just lovely camisole that you can like wear under anything, and that gauge is really tight. And anyway, I'm going to make that someday, hopefully soon. And then I have one other here. This is I have had some of this yarn before, but I hadn't cast it on. I've been thinking about making the Shift by Andrea Murray. It is a cowl with like variegated yarn maybe. I had bought this. Wait a second. These yarns for that. I thought that I would use these three, like that the yarn wouldn't be variegated, but it would be like just three different colors. But then I thought that I could buy this. Zauberball. I'm not sure about the pronunciation, but this is sports weight Zauberball, and I think I will be using these, so there will be some variegation in the cowl. Yeah, or maybe these three, because I want the black one in there, so it won't be too colorful for me. Where did the blue one go? Oh. Or would it be nice like this? This would be actually quite nice too. Maybe I'll have to think about that. But I'm going to use this anyway, because I think she uses this spin cycle yarn quite a lot, and it's not available in Finland, and I think it is also quite expensive, like way above my price range. So this Zauberball is like the more affordable version of that, kind of, maybe, I hope. But anyway, I'm going to see what comes of this plan. Okay, there are, I think I'm going to have to show you some more, because I want to tell a little story about that. Hold on. Hi, I'm back. It took a while for me to find the yarn, but I did. So the story is that when we were at the yarn shops and I were choosing the colors, I always tend to go for the darker ones or black ones. And then a babe said to me, why do you always have those black ones? And you should have more like colors. And he is a guy who always wears only black. So I was a bit surprised by that. But then I was, okay, you can choose some colors for me. So what happened, I chose the yarn and he like chose the colors. But I had a veto, right to veto, because I didn't want to buy yarn that I didn't like at all. So here are some of his choices, or maybe all. This is Isager or Isager tweed. This is fingering weight. Can you see the color? Here maybe. It is a darker one, but there are these colorful specks, and I really like this color. And this feels so soft. I'm going to make I forgot it. Light Hipster by Jouhi Locatelli from these. So these are like 50-gram skeins. So I think I'll have to use 2. But I think it will be a fun little scarf for myself. I think the color is more beautiful in real life than on the screen. Anyway, he chose this because maybe he figured that this is quite dark, so I will like this. Yes, And then, well, actually I have some older, because I have 3 skeins of mohair here, all different ones. This, I bought this before. I think I ordered this from Tititu. This is Setri, the colorway is Setri. And I was thinking that I will make Houhi Locatelli's Elton pullover with this, but I don't have the, because it's striped with mohair and with fingering weight yarn, and I will have to dye some merino for this. But then he also chose me this. This is also Louhittarin luola. What is it? Röyhetyinen. And he chose this colorway, where actually he chose one that was more light and there was more pink in it, but I chose this one, but the colorway is same. It is called Nuuksio. And then I was thinking that maybe I will use this for the Elton pullover. And now I don't know what I'm going to do. Either this, and then I will dye some yarn black, no black, not black, green maybe, or this, and I don't know what, it should maybe be like one colored merino, but I don't know if I should use like blue or yellow, or there's a lot of colors in here. Maybe pink, no, not maybe, not really, I don't know. So these are my options. And then there is this one. This is a color I chose from Nurja. The colorway is Sielu, which means soul, and it is just, I don't know if you can see the variegation there, but it is just lovely, really, really dark purple and dark blue and black. But I was thinking that I'd like to knit the, what is the shawl called? Birds of a Feather by Andrea Maury, because it uses one skein of mohair. So I think this would be enough for that. But it is just gorgeous. Actually, I would like to make a lento from this, but I would have to have another skein. But it was not cheap, so I only bought one. Yeah. These are so lovely. But I think that this would be really fun in the Elton, because you wouldn't know what kind of color you would have in which stripe. So it could be quite wild. Or maybe this held with black would be a bit more subtle. I think it would be quite nice too for something. I don't know. But I love these, all of these. Yeah. Well, he also chose a, I forgot another skein. It was Väinämöinen by Louhittarin luola. It's sock yarn, fingering weight sock yarn, and it was green and like brown. I'm going to go find it. Okay, so this is what he chose, and it is just amazing. It's just so beautiful. It's not just green, it's like emerald, or, and then there's this I don't remember, amber maybe, and some like these reddish browns, and this is sock yarn, but I'm not sure if I want to use this for socks because it's so beautiful. Or maybe I just keep it like this and touch it and feel good about it. And it's so beautiful. Really. This colorway is Kataja. I don't know what's it in English. It's a tree. Anyway, so that was, oh, this one is going to be a long, because there was a lot of knitting and yarn stuff. And then I wanted to talk about one thing that is about the garment sizes, because as I told you before, I have been exercising and I have lost some weight and some centimeters or inches around my body, which is of course nice, but all of the sweaters I have knit for myself are too big now, and I think that they were initially a bit too big also because I'm having troubles with my body image, so I don't really know what size I am even though I measure myself, and then there is the gauge issue that I always swatch, and so I would have the right gauge and the garments would be like the right size. But I've noticed that they all quite often are too big on me anyway. And I think the one problem is that because you are measuring your bust and you decide the size from that measurement. So I have chosen maybe the right bust size, but the garments are too big because my bust is, or it was quite big, still maybe is, but so because my body is not shaped like straight, and then if I there was this video from Knitfix and Chill, and they talked about this size issue, and you shouldn't really decide the size by the bust here, but rather from the upper bust from here, because then you have more accurate size, because your bust can like be different size or different shaped or anything, but this measurements tells more about your size actually. But of course there in the patterns there's no like measurement for this. There is only the bust from the biggest point. So I have two big sweaters, and now I have started to make them smaller. So for example, this is size 1, and I knit this with 5mm needles when the pattern calls for 6mm needles. So this is, it is supposed to have a lot of positive ease, but this has, I don't know, quite a lot I think, but not as much as in the pattern. But I think this fits better for me. And then when I started to knit the Junction by Andrea Maury, I started to knit the size 3, but then I tried it on when the yoke was ready, or maybe before that. Well, anyway, at some point when I had to decide that what size I'm going to make, then I decided in the middle of knitting that I'm going to make size 2, because it would have been too big. I think the gauge issue is one thing for me that affects the size of the garment. Anyway, now I'm thinking that's what I will do with those two big sweaters that I have. Of course, I can use them still, but I'm thinking of ripping some out of no out and maybe knitting them again in a smaller size. Maybe. But anyway, so the size thing is kind of hard for me right now, like anyways, because I'm kind of, I don't know where I'm going to, am I going to stay this sized, or what happens to my body when I like do this, because I've been going to the gym, and then I've been doing acro yoga, and then I've been going, it's suppailu in Finnish, and it's like SUP, like stand up paddle boarding in English, I think. And I've been swimming and all those things. So it has affected my body, and now I don't know if it continues to affect my body. So that will I like need to knit even smaller sizes, or should I knit the size that I am now, or probably not think about knitting bigger sizes just because I might be bigger someday again. I don't know. But yeah, I think this is just learning all the time, the knitting life, because this is another thing that I have had to learn by knitting, like all those sweaters, and realizing that it is not the right fit. But it's a lot of work you have to do before you can see that if the garment is the right size, and if your size changes, then I don't know. Anyway, I have been quite happy in life, also sad and tired after the trip, and now there's I don't know, maybe trigger warning. I've been quite sad because there was this young Finnish author that died. He was 33 years old, and it affected me more than I thought it would. And he was depressed and all stuff like that, and it just comes kind of close to me because I have been depressed in my life a lot. Yeah, so maybe it just triggered something in me, and affected my mood a bit or a lot. But it's getting easier again, I hope. And I am still enjoying life and enjoying all the acro yoga and gym even. It is nice. It's nice to do those things with someone you care about. And yeah, it's nice to take care of yourself. So you too, take care of yourself. Always. I think I'm done now. Bye bye. Happy stitches.